In today's video, we're going to talk about gridded drawings, how to create these scaled drawings. We're going to start with number 4 here. So let's take it into Fusion. Ultimately, this is what it's going to look like. Let's go ahead and start a new tab. Now the first step in any drawing, we want to go ahead and start new component. And for this particular one, let's go back and look. It says part 4. So for component name, I'm going to say part 4. And then I'll hit OK. I'll start with a new sketch. If we look at the original drawings, they are in 1/4 inch grids. Okay, so a 1/4 inch. So that means every block is 1/4 inch. Something that might help us is if we actually go to Fusion and make things a 1/4 inch. So to change that grid, we're going to go down here to the bottom and we'll click Grid Settings. And what we're going to do is actually get into the grid settings and we'll change some values. By default, this could say a lot of different things, but what we want to do is change that to be 0.25. And then we want to change our minor subdivisions to be 1. So now each one of these squares is going to be a 1/4 inch. And that can help us quite a bit, actually. So what I'm going to do is try to do a side-by-side here of the gridded drawings. Alright, so here's number 4. There's a couple ways to do this. What I would do is I would start with a rectangle, and I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks wide. And how many tall is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so I'm going to make this, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wide and 4 tall. So just by changing the grid settings, that helps us quite a bit, right? If nothing else, though, I could always use the dimension tool. Alright, so let's take a look. It looks like we've got a chunk missing here, 2 down and 1 over. Same thing on the other side, so let's handle that with the rectangle tool. So we said 2 down and 1 over. 2 down and 1 over. Now it looks like we've got a little thing at the bottom here. 3 blocks missing. So let's handle that again with the rectangle tool. Alright, and then we'll extrude it. So I press the E key, extrude it, and it is 3 blocks wide. So we can do the math in our head. We can just say 0.75, or we could also say 3 times 0.25, because the scale is 0.25. And there we go. Now we have that first part taken care of. While we're here, let's go ahead and take a look at number 5. Before I get moving too far, I want to go up here to the parent view, so the top view, and hit the activate component. Now I'm going to go to new component. And for this one, I'm going to name it part 5. Press enter. Notice over here now we have a part 4 and a part 5. And I'm going to go into sketch mode and click a plane. This is fine. And I'm just going to move it over. Now it looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 by 7. So I'm just going to take that rectangle tool. This time I'm not going to use the grid. I'm just going to draw one. And because it's 7, I'll say 7 times 0.25. I'll press the tab key and get over to the other side. And that's 7 times 0.25 as well. Okay. I think what I'll do is I'll make a little chunk here. It looks like it's 2 blocks by 2 blocks. So let's go ahead and extrude that. So I'll hit finish sketch, or just the E key. It looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So extrude. And I'll say 5 times 0.25. Right. So there's that. And let's see here. I think I'm going to come down to this view. And I know that there's like a rectangle, something happening like this. So I know it's 1.25. I'm going to tab over and make that a 0.5 and press enter. Then I'll extrude it. And I'm going to just say over here for extent type, I'm going to say distance. Instead of distance, so I'm going to say to object. And I'll just click the top and click OK. Now I'm getting closer, right? This is not really a chamfer, so I'm going to have to go into sketch mode here and take my line tool. And I know it connects down here, but maybe up here I'm not so good at. So let's see here. Let's dimension that. I know down here I'm okay. Up here though, from here to here, I need to figure out what that is. It looks like it's 4 blocks. So I could just put a 1 in, or I could say 0.25 times 4. There we go. Now I'll extrude. So by pressing the E key, And I'll just take that off. And there we go. Now if I want to go ahead and do the next part, I'll go up here and click the activate all. And now I've got all my parts again.